Hi everyone, we're back for another week of Brawl tournament. I am KA. I'm joined once again by Luke. Luke, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm back again. Doing pretty good. How you doing? I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean pretty good. Always fun to do some hyper brawl. To be back in the arena. To those of you who might have followed, our newsletter or checked out our social, you might have seen we've talked a lot about the HyperForce and the HyperCurve this week, and that is what this video will be focused on. So that means, a bunch of blitz mode where we're going to be trying to pull off these powers as best we can. So that's sort of the general idea of this video. But before we get into any of that, I want to do some quick housekeeping. Again. You might have seen on social media, we are currently running a Gleam competition or a giveaway, if you will. So have a look on our website or on our social channels to see how you might be able to win a headset and a stand. A lovely pair from Corsair. That rhymed. That was very unintentional, actually, but here we are. So yeah. No, I did not. So yeah, have a look at that if you want to win yourself some prizes. The competition runs until Sunday, and obviously keep an eye out in general because we might have another competition going live next week as well. And obviously, in general, if you want to be in the know for everything that's going on, includes these videos, our themes, our competitions, and everything. Do sign up to our newsletter. We're going to drop a link in the comments or in the description down below. So keep an eye, sign up there. And we are actually looking at introducing another cool concept, another cool fun thing to our newsletters. So yeah, do sign up, and you might be able to get additional bonus ways to win some cool stuff. Beyond that, of course, if you want to talk to us about Hyper Brawl, join Discord. There's also going to be a link in the description, so talk to us there. We have a few from the development team, myself and Luke are on there, and a lot of our brawlers as well. Right, so I think all that housekeeping out of the way. Luke, should we jump into some actual blitz and show off some hypercurving and hyperforce?
We should.
Right, we're in blitz. Luke, what is your strategy going into this?
So first of all, for undisclosed reasons, I'm going to choose a character with the highest throw control, and I believe that is Gozen in our game. We'll discover why in a minute, I suppose.
Right.
I'm also going to go for Toro, who is a tank, so he's actually one of the slowest moving characters. But I'm going to choose the Mag Beam, which means I don't have to run to the ball. The ball can come to me. Nice. Yeah.
That's quite handy for a slower character.
Exactly.
Nice. And it looks like we've doubled up on our team collection.
Yeah. I wonder if that was that intentional?
I think my selection was more aesthetic than anything. I was like, these guys look cool.
There we go.
Right. So again, our theme for this week is all the powers of Hyper Brawl. So the HyperCurve and the HyperForce. So I think Luke, you should take us through how those work exactly.
Sure. Well, I mean, so first thing first, Hyper Brawl is a game composed of heroes, and these heroes are essentially superpowered champions from across the universe. And with great power comes great curves. Yeah,
nice.
We'll go with that.
We go with that.
And I'll show you one of those great curves now. Hopefully this doesn't totally. Yes.
Oh, that was amazing. Wow, nice.
Rigged, must be.
Must be.
Yeah. So essentially, we call that hypercurve, and that is the ability to, once you've thrown the ball, you can essentially guide it, or you can essentially control it like a guided missile around the arena. To an extent, each character has their own kind of throw control capabilities, so some characters have more control over the hypercurve than others do. Typically lighter characters tend to have more control than stronger characters because they're more about the brawl.
Right. So it's kind of like a car that has different levels of grip depending on the tires and stuff. Except the heroes aren't cars; they're super strong heroes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing where different kind of like the character is part of your loadout, and the different loadouts are gonna have different results.
Exactly.
And gonna give you different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. If I could drive, then that metaphor would totally resonate with me. I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, You must have played some driving games.
I've played a couple.
So.
I've watched enough Top Gear, so.
I mean, in real life, I've never driven a car in such a way, but I needed much grip. You know what I mean? I didn't, drift around the corners or anything, so it's been relatively safe. I think.
What's even the point? What's the point of driving? If you can't drift.
Yeah,
around
if you're not just drifting around.
Sounds boring to me.
Right. So that's all about the HyperCurve, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, one thing I don't know if you touched on this is that the harder you throw, the less control you have, simply because the ball will fly so fast. You don't have enough time to curve it much.
Yeah.
You can always curve to an extent, but obviously, again, like the more power, the less time, and so the less control.
Exactly. Yeah, and then there's a little bit of a payoff there because obviously, the longer you hold down the throw button, the more powerful that shot will be. So the quicker, so the faster it will move, throughout the in the arena. But you kind of leave yourself open to attack essentially. So you kind of want to get that ball out of your hands as soon as possible. Which is why and then on top of that, because you actually get more control the slower that it's thrown. One of my strategies tends to be actually not to throw it full power and actually to get as close as to the goal as I can before kind of getting that ball out of my hands as soon as possible and getting it into the goal. It obviously didn't work in this situation because you just absolutely destroyed me.
Yeah, I mean, you narrated yourself walking over to me. It's like, oh, so that's what he's doing.
I didn't think of that. I just gave you my battle plan. Yeah, that was
a nice curve there as well.
That was a great curve.
So basically, the HyperCurve allows you to score from pretty much anywhere.
Exactly.
Considering you can do crazy, unexpected angles, and so you don't have to actually have a shot to have a shot.
Exactly.
Because you can make almost anything work.
That's a great way of putting that. Yeah, for sure. And you'll see what HyperCurve is capable of the more we kind of play some games today. Because it's pretty.
Hopefully we'll pull off some cool ones.
Let's
and hopefully we won't pull off some embarrassing ones. I think both of us have in the past done a HyperCurve that resulted in an own goal because it hit something it shouldn't have, and we'll see if that happens today. If it does, maybe we'll add a collage or something at the end of the video. We'll see how that goes.
I'd rather not showcase my failures.
We got to make the most of it. Just celebrate the victories.
Fair enough.
Right. So I guess the other thing that we've kind of built up is the HyperForce. Yeah. So how does that work?
So the HyperForce, I mean, I'm sure one of us is bound to get it pretty soon. But essentially, the way that works. Oh, speak of the devil. The way that works is once you've taken so much damage, your character is essentially going to have There we go. Oh my god, it's everywhere. Everyone's on HyperForce. Yeah. So as you can see, all these guys are being punched so hard in the face that they become angry enough to channel the HyperForce, which is essentially a big bolt of energy that's going to strike your character and give them even more superpowers than they already have. So they can run faster around the arena. They're going to punch way harder. They can do special abilities such as like superpowered roundhouse kicks, which allows.
Gotta love those.
Exactly. And then also, you can also throw enemies outside the arena. So essentially, once you become HyperForce, you have the power to lift anybody up, whether you're the smallest character or the biggest character. You can lift anybody else up in the game and throw them straight across the arena, or straight out of the arena, or even straight towards the camera, which is a pretty fun thing to see. Let's hope that happens today. If not, we'll stick a little clip in there so people can kind of get a taste of that, of how fun that is. I mean, but one of the kind of cool things about HyperForce is essentially it's not just there is friendly fire, or there's no friendly fire. What's it saying there, KO? If I can punch if I can punch my teammate in the face, that is friendly fire, right?
That is friendly fire.
I mean, it's not very friendly to punch your friends in the face, but the same as friendly fire, right? Yeah.
That is true. So I guess it is an interesting term in general. It's calling it friendly fire.
Exactly.
It's a very unfriendly act.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I guess the whole point is that you are firing on a friendly.
Absolutely.
That's probably where that originated from. So,
gotcha.
So obviously that goes for both just punching and kicking, and as well as weapon use. So you can build up your HyperForce just by attacking in any way you want, or being attacked rather.
You got MVP. Congratulations.
I mean, that's a rare sight, so I'll take it. Right, we are back for our second match. Let's see. So, has your strategy changed at all based on my I'll just say performance. I'm not going to say good or bad. Based on my performance, do you have a new strategy going into this one? Or based on the arena?
It's exactly based on the arena. I'm actually going to go for quite a similar strategy. I'm going to go with the mag beam one more time, just because the arena we're about to go into is one of the biggest arenas. So being able to drag the ball from anywhere on the arena is going to come in pretty handy.
That is very true.
On this particular arena. And for my second character, I'm actually going to go for an all-rounder. So I'm not going to go for anyone who's particularly fast or particularly slow. They're just pretty great at everything. And I think I'll go for Leto.
I mean, all this insight from you always makes me regret my choices. So
what? Just the choice of just smashing gay until everything.
I just like who do I feel like playing? I don't have a strategy or any logic behind it. It's just like, I fancy this person.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's totally viable too. I mean, trying to think of your characters really technically is, it's a cool thing to do if you want to be able to do that. But every character is balanced.
It's viable, right?
Yeah, totally viable, balanced really well. You're gonna have a fun dynamic game no matter who you choose.
Yeah, and it's very much a game where you decide how seriously you want to take it. Exactly. So it doesn't have to be super hardcore.
For sure. Cool.
Right, so as we kind of brawl here, I want to pick your brain on something. I'm a big fan of watching Netflix and other services just for films and shows. Yeah. So do you have any recommendations? Have you been watching anything lately that I should check out?
So it's funny that you mention Netflix and streaming, etc. Because I haven't been watching anything of note streaming wise, but I'm going to go old school tonight, I think. Oh. I'm actually going to the cinema to watch Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
Right. Okay. I mean, that one is an easy recommendation, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I won't spoil it for you when I get back. So.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to that because obviously, I wasn't around when the original Star Wars films were in cinema. But I'm a super big fan of them, so I'm really excited for that. I can't wait. It's kind of strange that so from what I've seen, they're only showing Empire Strikes Back for the next couple of weeks, which is weird to me. Maybe it's just because that's kind of the most, the kind of most pop culture-y one, the classic one.
Maybe they have a long-term plan for kind of leading up to whatever next Star Wars film is coming. Yeah,
exactly.
So maybe it's like a month-long long-term plan.
It could be. But but then the other thing is, and I'm sorry for whatever side of the fandom you're on, but I love Star Wars, but I much prefer Lord of the Rings. So next week I'm gonna get to watch all of the Lord of the Rings extended editions. I've never seen them before. I purposefully held off on watching them for a long time. I'm gonna watch the extended editions on the big screen. Eat one movie every day. You know what I mean? So 3 days in a row.
Right.
I'm super excited for that. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I am. So I've got a comment on either on both of those. I guess is that Star Wars. Last time I watched the original films, I was doing a marathon with some friends of mine. This was ages ago. We watched the first two trilogies all back to back.
Nice.
So 6 films. That was obviously quite a long. I don't think. To be fair, I don't think any one of us made it through all of them without falling asleep at some point. Yeah. This is a very, very long sitting.
I don't think I have
but I haven't seen the film since, and that's been like 15 years. So nice. I don't remember much of the original trilogy, or even the second one for that matter.
Yeah.
But I just remember enjoying them.
Well, maybe not.
But I will say, in terms of the Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings, I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I watched the films once, and I found them very, very boring.
Oh.
So,
if you think the films were boring, right? Imagine free extra added hours to each film in a cinema where you really shouldn't leave. Oh, that's gonna be the best. That's gonna be the best. I can't wait. That is literally heaven for me.
I mean, that being said, I enjoy the hell out of the games actually.
Yeah.
Though I think the most recent that I played a lot of was actually the online one, so Lord of the Rings Online. This is again a long time ago, but that one I enjoyed the hell out of. Had so many cool, unique ideas. Again, it's been over 10 years since I played it, but I think it's still running to this day. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, nice! I never played the online. Obviously, I really like the.
I think it's free to play now, or maybe it was even then. I'm not sure, but it's very cool. Like you can even play as enemies, so you can
nice.
play as a spider and like do PvP stuff as monsters, orcs, spiders, all sorts of stuff. It's really cool.
Oh, that sounds super cool.
But yeah, so I love the games, but not really much a fan of the movies. I haven't read the books, so I can't judge on those.
I have the books. I need to read them. I need to. I'm much more of a visual person, which is obviously why I'm in video games. But I do have them, and I've told myself one day I need to sit down and I just need to. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to do them all in one day, but one day I need to start them. Yeah. So I really should make that my goal during lockdown.
Yeah, sounds like a good call.
Yeah. Well, this was an easy win, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame the movie talk. I'll try to do better in the next one.
Okay, we're back into it.
Third match.
Third match. Yeah. I won that last one. Who won the first one?
I don't even remember.
I can't remember. We'll go back and watch this.
I'm so used to losing. I don't even. I just assume that I've lost.
Yeah. Okay. We'll assume I won. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, most likely scenario anyway.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about what nerdy things I'm going to be doing for the next week and what I'm going to be watching. Have you been watching anything interesting? Okay.
Yeah, and I have been using a streaming service, so I'm not necessarily going to plug anyone in particular, but there is one where you can frequently rent movies at a heavy discount. So I jumped on Sonic, finally, and Bad Boys for Life. Two very different films.
Yeah.
Both of them actually enjoyable for very different reasons.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, I saw a little, like a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, whatever, that Sonic the sequel was confirmed. So, I was like, okay, so it's clearly good enough, and there's interest enough for them to make another one. And having seen it, it does lead into what could be next. So
yeah,
that is pretty cool. But it's a cool film. Have you seen Sonic at all?
I have seen Sonic. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think?
I went to watch it in the cinema again. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I kind of went into it expecting, I was in it for the memes, and I left thinking, actually, it was actually pretty good. I mean, the bar isn't very high anyway for video game adapted movies.
Yeah,
I guess.
Very true.
Movies adapted from video games. So it's not a super high. There's not a super high standard to beat anyway. But I mean, I think considering Sonic was pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would say. For a film that isn't fully CG, it's probably as good as it could have been.
Yeah.
Like I think for it to be more Sonic, it would have had to be full CG, like a Wreck-It Ralph type thing or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Where it's like in his world. But it does have a lot of like cool little throwbacks, and the fact that the place, I think the town is called Green Hills or whatever, which is the first world or first level or whatever of Sonic. So that whole thing just plays into the general lore of the franchise.
Exactly.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
There are a few things where I was like, it felt like some things were very convenient for the sake of telling a story, but again, I think overall it's a very, very enjoyable film.
Yeah.
And again, like if you have a browse around, for people that might not have seen it yet, have a browse around the various streaming services, and you might find one that has it very cheap right now for rent.
Nice.
And so the other one I watched last night was Bad Boys for Life, which is Will Smith. Joint, if you will. A lot of action, a lot of shooting people up, and if people have seen Bad Boys, they will know what they're in for. It's very cool, but it also has like kind of things that again tie into a potential sequel or a spin-off or whatever. So I think that's also very, very cool.
Well, guess what? I've never seen Bad Boys.
You've never seen any of them?
That was a hot fuzz quote.
Oh.
I've never seen any Bad Boys at all.
Have you played the game?
There's a game?
There's a game, yeah.
Hold on, Bad Boys isn't a video game adaptation.
No, it's the other way around.
Right.
But yeah, I think the game is on like PS2 or something, so it's very old. But there's a game. It's obviously just a shooter.
Right. Okay.
That is what that game. I honestly don't remember. I seem to recall enjoying it, but again, that's PS2, man. Yeah. That's what 15, 20 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah. That was the golden era of games, in my opinion.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a whole different thing. I mean, back then I was focused mainly on RPGs, so the fact that I even played it was probably a miracle.
So if you had to recommend one film to somebody, would it be Sonic or Bad Boys?
Oh man, depends on who you're watching it with.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you're watching it by yourself or like with a loved one, I think you would enjoy both. If you want an action film, obviously the choice is easy.
Yeah.
If you watch it with like siblings or your family, again, I think the choice is easy. So it kind of depends on who you're watching it with.
Let's pretend
and
what
you're in the mood for. Because I rented both at the same time, but the evening I rented them, I was just more in the mood for Sonic than an action film. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for.
I suppose.
But I'd say they're both worth a rent and check them out. I think for sure.
I suppose Bad Boys has also got a lot of baggage you need to watch. You probably need. I assume you need to have watched the other Bad Boys before you watch this one.
Not really. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, there might be throwbacks that I missed because I would have missed them, so I don't know. But it's all you really have to know to understand the film is that these guys are like brothers. You know what I mean? Like they consider each other family, and so there's like very strong ties. And they are bad boys for life. And so there's this ongoing gag about the song, and only they are allowed to sing. The bad boys, what you gonna do? That kind of song. They're the only ones allowed to sing it and all that because that's like their theme song.
Nice.
But otherwise, I don't think you have to really know anything going in. You just have to be looking for some action.
Okay. Cool.
And you're certainly gonna get it. So that's pretty cool.
I'll have to give it a watch. Yeah.
Again, you can rent it very cheap right now. So
yeah.
I'm not sure how long for, but check it out.
Cool.
So yeah. Anything else? Anything? Do we have that much time left in this match? Do you have anything you've watched that we can recommend to viewers?
I was just going to kind of bring it back to games for a second and ask if that you've been playing in the week since we last talked.
Yeah, I have been playing a game that I think you might appreciate actually. People might have seen that recently on social. We kind of highlighted the fact that you were playing Limbo because you were being inspired by its very cool, unique art style. And so this game I'm currently playing is again a game with very unique art style. It's called 11-11.
Okay.
And it's basically an adventure game. It's set in World War One, and the aesthetics are basically like a water painting. So it kind of looks like the entire game was made in Dreams. That's the kind of look it has. So if you've ever seen Dreams on PS4, that like watercolor aesthetic, that's how the entire game looks.
Oh wow!
And it's set like you see two different perspectives, two different people that are participating in World War One for very different reasons, and they tell their story. And it's cool. I'm only 2 hours in or something, but it seems very cool, and the art style in particular is very awesome. So I think definitely one for you to maybe be inspired by for something.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
As an artist, I think you might appreciate it.
Let's hope so. So what
that's another one. I'm playing it on PS4, and speaking of streaming services, I'm playing it via PlayStation Now actually.
Nice.
So it's on there. So if anyone happens to be subscribed, you can play it for free. Otherwise, I'm not sure how much it costs, but it's actually made by the developers who made Valiant Heart. If you know that game as well.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the same studio, so another like World War type game, but completely different aesthetic and different like storytelling.
Cool. Very nice.
So
sudden death. Sorry, I didn't even so focused on that talk that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Sudden death.
Right, sudden death. Let's see if we can do it faster than the 3-hour record that we put on social the other day.
Okay, so are we going for the fastest sudden death ever?
I mean, I think we've already messed that one up, but let's do it in less than 3 hours at least.
Alright, cool. Let's give it a go. Oh no!
Oh, so close.
Right, I want to end this with an amazing hypercurve. It's the only way. It's got to be done. Oh no! Right, get it twisted.
Or a nice use of the HyperForce.
Someone needs. That's a good point. I'm gonna punch my guy in the face so much until we get HyperForce. It worked.
I went flying.
HyperForce.
No.
Oh no! I'm just imagine at this point. Oh no!
Come on! No! Oh man!
That was a great hypercurve as well. Oh, that was really good as well actually. Right, ready. This is the one.
Oh no! Oh man!
Ready? Spin.
Oh.
No scope.
Spin it to win it. Nicely done.
Cool. Our fourth and final match, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have little faith in my own victory, but let's see if at least maybe I can win one.
Yeah, who knows? You might have won the first one. We just can't.
I mean, I might have won the first one. let us know in the comments if I happen to win the first one, if we're totally wrong. Yeah. Maybe I'll get the first, maybe I'll get the second, who knows. Here.
So, just as a segue into what I'm going to talk about next, I want to choose my two characters. I want to choose the most alien characters.
Right.
And in this game, alien's kind of a strange thing, because the idea is that all of these characters come from not only across the galaxy, but from across different realities and different timelines. So Sir Gallant's kind of alien because he's kind of from some kind of a steampunk, but at the same time post-apocalyptic medieval world. So he's and Brawlbot was literally assembled on an alien moon. So these are the two characters I'm going to pick. And the reason I'm talking about that, let's jump into the game, is so I mentioned before about how I think the PS2 was like the golden area of video games, and that's just because of the kind of video games that I'm into. I'm really into kind of character-based action adventure games, sometimes 3D platformer games. And there was a really awesome game on the PS2 called Destroy All Humans, where essentially you played as an evil alien who essentially comes down to Earth to literally abduct humans and to destroy them all. And it's just a super fun game where you get to kind of jump around in these kinds of these playgrounds of American suburbia, and you just get to like blow things up.
It sounds very much like the last thing we need in 2020 is an alien invasion. It's like, we've seen enough. Like, cut us some slack here.
Well, in 2020, it's too late because it's come back. So they did a remake of that game, and I remember that game being great even when I was a kid. But they've just improved it so much, and it just looks fantastic.
It's a proper remake. I think they've re-recorded like music and voiceover and all sorts of stuff. I believe the only thing they haven't remade essentially is the voices, because. Oh right, okay.
Yeah. Essentially, they want the experience to be pretty much a one-to-one recreation of the exact first game, but with just much improved graphics and much improved gameplay.
And new content, I think. I seem to recall them talking about adding a mission that never made it into the first or into the original. Yeah,
so apparently I haven't got that far yet, but apparently there's a lost mission, which is exactly, so they want it to be a one-to-one recreation, but they're actually going even further and adding in content that was planned for the original game, but didn't actually make it into the final thing. So essentially I think they've brought back to life this level that was initially cut from the first game. So I'm looking forward to playing that, because that will be some new content that I've never ever played before. But it's just so super fun, and that's kind of what I mean. Obviously, games nowadays, obviously, it's got to be a fun game if you really want to enjoy it. But it's just pure fun. You know what I mean? From beginning to end, it's like there's no filler.
It doesn't take itself seriously either. Exactly. It's just you're in for a good time, and that's it.
Exactly.
Like don't think about it too much. Just like blow up some humans.
For sure. Yeah, it's just a super fun game, and exactly, it's kind of the ultimate metaphor for 2020. Really, maybe that's why I'm enjoying it so much. I'm just enjoying the chaos.
Yeah. We do need a bit of chaos sometimes,
exactly.
Especially when the world is on fire. We need all the distractions we can get, right?
Yeah, when the real world's on fire, you got to go and set the virtual world on fire.
Yeah, exactly. So you can focus on a different fire, a safer one.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
But this remake is THQ Nordic, right?
Yeah, I believe it is.
And I think what they're doing is actually quite interesting, because I'm sure a lot of people will know that they've bought up all these dormant IP and all this kind of stuff, but what they're doing with these games is actually quite interesting, that they're not just bringing them back, but they're bringing them back and adding to them. And obviously, Destroy All Humans is one example of that, but they just recently announced not only a remaster of Kingdoms of Amalur, which is one of my favorite RPGs ever, but they also announced an expansion for next year, so entirely new content for next year. Yeah, awesome. It's coming next year, so that's gonna, I cannot wait.
Yeah,
I am beyond excited. So that's a really cool way to work on old content. It's like not just update it for a current audience, but like add to it and expand that universe.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Which is it's a really interesting way of doing it, because it's not you do get games which I guess you'd call them reboots, which essentially take the original I guess IP or the original world, but they essentially do kind of a new thing with it. And then you've obviously got remakes, which tend to be one-to-one recreations of the original games. But what THQ Nordic are doing is really, really interesting. Where it essentially is it's staying super faithful to the original experience, but then it's also adding to that experience.
Yeah.
In a really seamless way. Yeah, it's really I think it's super cool.
Yeah, I wonder how many other IP, because obviously they've bought so many, and many of them we haven't heard anything about since their acquisition. So I wonder how much more of this we have waiting, and I hope it's a lot of it, because there's so many cool IP that they've picked up.
Yeah, so do I. Are there
just in general so many IP that they're kind of dormant that I'd love to see come back.
Are there any particular games that you'd like to see?
I mean, for the longest time, actually, kind of funny that Kingdoms of Amalur is coming, because that is one of my top requests for years. Another one that I want to come back. That isn't one that THQ Nordic is going to pick up because it's already owned by Capcom or Konami. I don't remember. And that is what's it called? Dragon's Dogma.
Right, yeah, Dragon's Dogma.
I absolutely love that game.
I think it's a great game.
Played it all the way through it on PS3 and most of it again on PS4. I still need to go back and finish it again. It's a very long RPG.
Yeah.
And there was an online version of it in China, I think.
Yeah, I remember,
China or Japan, whatever. I think it was China. Ran for quite a while, but never came to the West. And I was really hungry for just more Dragon's Dogma. And so
I was the same. I was the exact same.
I think it was recently announced for Switch or something. It was like something was happening with it recently. I don't remember what it was.
Something was happening, and maybe I'm totally misremembering, but in my head, I've got an idea that they announced a TV series or something. That's probably totally wrong.
I don't remember. There's something that happened, and they keep doing something with it, and it keeps spurring these, speculations of, are they actually finally doing a sequel? Because that is like one of my most requested sequels. It's just the new Dragon's Dogma. I just love that game.
I'm being totally unprofessional right now, and a Dragon's Dogma anime. That's happening.
All right, there we go. Okay, so again, would they bother bringing that game after all these years to current gen consoles and expand that world if they weren't making a sequel?
Exactly.
I don't think so. I have really high hopes for that.
Yeah, something tells me they want to generate interest in that world again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be super.
That's really cool. I mean, you can kind of see a trend, I guess, in the games that I've wanted. They're like all RPGs. I'm a big sucker for a good role-playing game. So
yeah, I do really like role-playing games. Oh, there you go.
Another thing you do like is winning, I see. So congratulations on another one.
Thank you very much.
So I think that's all the bits we're gonna play for now.
Yeah.
Right, we're back in free play after some crushing defeats on my end in Blitz mode. How did it feel to once again be the master of the HyperForce?
Well, it's just par for the course now, really.
The humble brag. I didn't even. Or were you even in the matches before?
Yeah, I've just been. It's purely experience based. I've been playing this game for 4 years now, and it's just turned into autopilot for me, which for me I love, because I love being able to just kind of chill out and sit back and play some Hyper Brawl while kind of talking to my buddies about cool stuff.
Yeah, including Hyper Brawl, of course. A luxury that we have exclusively, I guess, until it is out this summer. So not too much longer for everyone to wait to get your hands on it. And I guess kind of a perfect segue into thanks guys for watching. If you've made it this far, I salute you. Congratulations. Let us know in the comments if you actually made it this far in the video. And again, in general, if you have any feedback in these videos, do let us know. Anything you want us to talk about, not talk about, or show or not show, let us know. We'll adapt as best we can. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider wishlisting on Steam if you are a PC player and want to play some Hyper Brawl this summer. Obviously, wishlisting just means that you will know, when stuff happens, when we announce things, that kind of stuff. But an even better way to actually stay informed is to sign up to our newsletter. I mentioned it at the top as well. If you do sign up, we've got some exclusive wallpapers you get that way. So if you want to represent your favorite characters, just Hyper in general, you can do that in the newsletter or via the newsletter. But we're also cooking up something extra. There will be more exclusives to the newsletter. So, including stuff you could win that you will not be able to get anywhere else. Mm-hmm. So keep an eye out. Sign up to the newsletter. We'll have links again in the description below, so you can click that and get signed up. We promise we're not going to spam you. We're just going to give you all the cool stuff and all these exclusive goodies. So do check that out. I think we've covered everything. Do you have any closing words, Luke? Any advice to people who want to make the most of the HyperForce and HyperCurve when they get their hands on the game, maybe?
Yeah, here's an exclusive new tactic that I've just discovered through playing this game mode. Check this out. You ready? Right.
I'm ready.
We shown this off a little bit last time, but this is an even more hyper-powered roundhouse.
If you can manage to pull it off, that is.
Guys, you saw me doing it. I'm not.
I think if you want to see evidence of this actually being a thing, check last week's video.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to be here all day.
I don't like how every video is now just going to end with me trying to pull off some stupid, crazy kick goal.
It's the challenge of the week. If you've got another challenge that Luke should try, or I should try, or someone should try next time, again, do let us know in the comments.
Please do.
And we'll do our best to pull it off, hopefully, during the video and not as an afterthought. Yes. Oh, there we go. I kind of had it get going, gave you more time to... This is how that works. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for watching. Thanks, Luke, for joining me.
Thank you.
This was Hyper Brawl Tournament, and again, you can play it very soon on PC and consoles. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.
See ya.